Hello, and welcome to week 2 of the UNPL Spring Fling. I'm Zand, and we are going against a scary team this week. I'll throw it up on the screen real quick. I think I will have time to edit this video and actually do little things like that. One thing I noticed about my opponent's team this week while we're waiting is very slow. It looks like a Trick Room team. He only has 2 Trick Room setters. But they're very likely to. Things like Porygon should almost always carry Trick Room, I think, on this team. And Sinistcha honestly fights for move slots. If you've been around the channel at all, you know Sinistcha is one of my absolute favorite draft Pokemon this generation. Luckily, his is not Terra, so that at least helps us a little bit. But he does have Terra, Electivire, and Crabominable, which is pretty terrifying. So the other thing I noticed was his team is relatively weak to the combination of fighting and fire. So I have things like Terra Fire Malamar with no fire coverage, but 3 good moves to hit its team, along with my favorite move of all time that needs better distribution, Topsy Turvy. We've also got Life Orb Cobalion, who was physical until last second. I changed it because I realized my entire team was physical, so I thought it might be good to have one special attacker. We've got Bombardier to kind of break the Sash lead Ribombee, as well as maybe flinch us into a win late game with Rock Slide. Cinccino, just kind of here in case he does get webs up, we can remove them with Tidy Up, and then we have decent enough coverage into his team. It's not great. Cinccino is really never damaging things like Orthworm no matter what, so I just did what I could. I didn't want to run Focus Blast Cinccino. Ceruledge is one of the weirdest sets I've ever made. It's a Fire Spin Bitterblade Sub Protect set, made to stall out things like the Volcanion Steam Eruptions if it's something like Choice Specs. Because as soon as it runs out of Steam Eruptions, Clodsire beats it. And it just kind of helps us stall other things that Ceruledge otherwise has trouble breaking. So I kind of liked a trapping set. I wanted close combat. I wanted ghost coverage for Sinistcha. Couldn't find room for him. So he's just going to do his best. Hopefully catch a Strength Sap from Sinistcha with a sub, something like that. And then Clodsire. This is a Curse. Low Kick. I don't know why Clodsire gets Low Kick. It's kind of ridiculous. Gunk Shot and Recover setup. Hopefully win con for the end game. We have to get rid of Volcanion first. And we want to get pretty well set up before Electivire can come in. Honestly, I think worst case scenario is he brings Terra Ground Electivire versus me with Choice Scarf. Because Scarfed Earthquakes from Terra Ground are going to hurt pretty much this entire team. Do I think he brings that specific Pokemon? I don't think it's super likely, but you never know. I think Regieleki probably scares away, or forces Electivire to come, scares away some of his other Pokemon. So, unfortunately, Volcanion probably has to come no matter what because it's his best Primarina answer, which is why we don't have it this week. Also not bringing Flygon once again. So I've drafted Flygon and Regieleki, which are 2 amazing Mons a lot of times, and I haven't even brought them to the first 2 weeks. So hopefully they get to shine later on. We did not bring Primarina this week purely because of Volcanion. It just cannot break it that well, and he has a lot of potential setup on things like Enamorus that if we're not like specs, then he could take full advantage. And then no Arboliva, same reason as Primarina, it just doesn't really do much. He doesn't have a single grass weakness before Terra. And then no Glaceon, doesn't look great. A lot of these special attackers I have that don't really set up that well or are slower just didn't look that great into his team. So yeah, I wanted to go over our team real quick. I think it looks pretty fun and really weird, so I kind of wanted to explain the sets before we got into the battle. But also we're waiting on our opponent still, so hopefully he shows up shortly. I will cut here and we'll be back when the battle starts. Oh, and we are back, and I just fed the dogs and saw that he had a message from 1 minute ago. And it looks like he's bringing Terra Ghost Electivire, which is honestly a really good counter for Malamar to get set up. So we can look at his team. No Goodra, which I do appreciate. Volcanion is there, makes perfect sense. No Ribombee. So Scarf Bombardier is not as important. No P2, which I like to see. There's a Sinistcha. No Orthworm. Okay. No Crabominable. Colossal is here. And Haunchcrow is here. Okay. I did not do a whole lot of prep for Haunchcrow, so it makes me a little nervous. Something worth noting though is he has 4 Rock Weeks and no Resist, and Terra Electivire doesn't resist either. So, looking at this, it's pretty weak to ice, which I don't have any of. We got to get rid of that Volcanion as soon as possible. If that means sacrificing Choice Scarf Bombardier immediately for 50% on him, then that's what I'm going to do. He didn't bring his Rabombi, so his fastest mon's 95 base speed. So if Electivire's not Scarfed, then my whole team outspeeds him outside of Clodsire. Or at least my whole team outspeeds everything slower than Electivire. I'm glad I ended up creeping Honchkrow, because it's 1 point faster than Volcanion and Sinistcha, and I was like, I might as well throw on, like, what, 3 extra points to outspeed it? Good luck, have fun to my opponent, Grum, I believe is his name. He makes really good videos. I don't always watch my opponent's videos. I try my best to watch every one of my opponent's videos, not only to just get an idea of how they play, but also because I like supporting fellow content creators, and he makes really good edits, honestly, so would highly recommend checking him out. He leads with the Honchkrow. So the Dark Bird show off is here. Luckily, we get stab rock coverage, so if he is no bulk, then Rock Slide just cleanly one-shots. And I think we don't always outspeed, but he has to be Jolly Max Speed Scarf to outrun us. So I think I'm pretty safe to just go for Rock Slide here. We can see if he has bulk, if he's max speed Jolly Scarf. He never one-shots me. Brave Bird does a lot, but it never KOs. So Honchkrow is his lead. We know he's Electivire with Terra Ghost. There's a cool, I wonder if it's Terra Blast. I wonder why exactly he'd want to run that. So he is Jolly Scarf, so now he's gonna think we're not Scarf. Okay, that's really interesting. I didn't put quite enough speed. I'm actually 9 points too slow because I didn't want to not run Adamant. So now we know that he is Jolly Max Speed Scarf. And he is U-turn, and he has no switch-ins to a Rock Slide. This triple stab bird is going to do a lot of damage to something coming in because he didn't bring either steel type. So our opponent's thinking about his move. I'm going to write down all of his Pokemon real quick just so I don't forget anything. Sinistcha is probably his best switch in here, but he might be afraid of a knockoff. Goddess? That sounds like an Amorous, right? Okay, an Amorous comes in. This should hurt. We do drop a Rock Slide. It does well over half. Do we see a weakness policy? We see leftovers. Okay. So that's a great first turn for us because Enamorous was one of the scariest things we were going to have to deal with. We did like 70% to it as well. So this is not a defensive Enamorous at all. Wow, that is really not defensive. That makes me think it's an agility set. I don't think he ever outruns us. Enamorous is incredibly slow. If I do timid, yeah, we barely outrun it. That's kind of crazy. I didn't think of that. Hopefully it's not Scarf. If it's Jolly Scarf or Timid Scarf, it does outrun us. Or, I guess not. No, it never outruns us. We do miss our second Rock Slide, which is par for the course with me, and he does set up an agility. So we don't love that. A little bad luck on turn 2. We did kind of anticipate some type of setup in Amorous. I assume it's faster than my whole team now. And it definitely KOs Bird here. So we kind of have to pick a sack. I really don't want to. I don't think he Earth Powers. I think that's too risky of a play. So I do kind of expect a Moonblast to come out here, which makes me want to go into either Ceruledge or Clodsire. I really didn't want to waste Clodsire early game, though. Clodsire is unaware, so if he goes for a Calm Mind here, we're in good shape. I think Ceruledge KOs this, based on how much damage that did. Yeah, Ceruledge should KO, but Earth Power is going to hurt a lot. If he Calm Minds here, we should still take one. It's not what I wanted Ceruledge to do, but I'm going to have to bring it in. I don't think we take a... We might take a Moonblast into an Earth Power. He's Iron Defense. We're struggling a little. He's Alluring Voice. So, trying to block our setup a little. Went for Alluring Voice instead of Moonblast, so taking a little bit of less damage to confuse setup. My dog has decided she wants her hat off. I don't know where the other one is, but she's running around very angry with a hat on right now. So that alluring voice did not quite sure how much, because we got leftovers back. If he's max special attack, I don't think he knocks me out, but Bitterblade probably also doesn't knock him out, so we're just gonna have to go for it. It's unfortunate as it is. We missed Rock Slide. We would have just got a clean knockout, and then he would have switched into something else, but this would have been gone. So we just got to play our cards kind of as they're dealt. And I would love to run more accurate moves on Bombardier. I was almost running Rock Blast this week, but it's not any more accurate, so it doesn't really matter, you know. If a move has less than 100 accuracy, I should just assume I'm missing it. But it's a game, and it's still fun. We still have fun. So my opponent's really thinking about this move, thinking about if he wants to save an Amorous or just hit me. Earth Power should not KO ever. Okay, yeah, not even close. Bitterblade probably doesn't KO because I have like no investment. Yeah, so he might fear the Shadow Sneak here. I don't know if he will or not. It looks like another Earth Power probably knocks me out. This thing is getting so much more mileage than it ever deserved to get, honestly. Yeah, Alluring Voice always knocks out Bombird if he's max special attack. And if he's max speed, he definitely outruns us, which we can only assume he is. That Earth Power does 186 to 220. So I actually am going to protect, get a little leftovers back. He's willing to risk it with the Shadow Sneak, which I respect. Let's just go for another Earth Power. The Cerulege set was kind of here for Volcanion, so we're gonna have to be a little careful around it. We're pretty much picking a sack every time it comes in. I could easily go like Malamar here and then Terra, but then we get into Terra Mind Games. 211, I should live most timid hits here, so we'll just go for another Bitterblade. 25% chance to knock me out from here if he's timid. If he's modest, it's definitely in his favor. We can actually get that calc. 81% chance. So, hope he's timid. But we'll see. Could definitely save this. Like, I don't have rocks up yet. He probably knows I have rocks in the back, but I don't know. So does decide to switch. Okay. Maybe into Volcanion. Pog Rocks. I wonder what that is. It's a Colossal. If it's Flash Fire, then we do 0 damage to it. Okay, it is Flash Fire. Which is fine, because I don't think this can ever really do anything to Clodsire. I mean, we have given it Flash Fire now, so that's not amazing. Should never be able to do absolutely anything to Clodsire, so that should be the freest switch of my life. Now, if he's like Banded Flare Blitz, then I'm about to eat my words, but we can hope not. Also, low kick does nothing to this until we get some more damage on him. So he does set up a spike. We do have the boots tidy up Cinccino, so that's not horrible. We do have to get it in before we get swept, but that's beside the point. We'll go for one curse just to see if he wants to keep hazarding or if he wants to switch to something else, because one defense boost is pretty useful. I don't think he goes straight into Volcanion because he would fear a ground type move. Might go back into an Amorous, but we're max Spadef with quite a bit of health, so should eat an Earth Power with ease. Other options would be Sinistcha, which would be annoying, but we're unaware. He is Earthquake. And it does almost half. Wow. Okay. I will set a curse here, but that did a lot more than I expected. Yeah, I guess if he's physical, that kind of checks out. Next one should be doing a lot less, though, with our +1 boost. Next one should be doing about 30%, so we'll recover once. Definitely could switch into something like a Nam here. I'm going to have to go for Gunk Shot on it. Poison Jab was just not doing any kind of damage on the calcs, so I did go Gunk Shot, and I may live to regret that in this battle, but we'll see. I guess he kind of is, it's his choice. He can do about anything he wants here. Most of his switch-ins are pretty free. Sinistcha, I would say, is the most free, but then it really doesn't do much to us. So I think it's a little more difficult. I don't think Honchkrow can switcheroo, but I'm not 100% positive. So he does just Earthquake again. Does not crit, so we are able to recover. This is a losing battle for him, so I do anticipate a switch at some point. I don't know if it'll be now or later. Honchkrow does not get any kind of switching sets item, so, or switching attack, so it's never going to be able to trick anything. I am going to go for a Gunk Shot here because I do kind of anticipate the switch now. He's very bold to stay in on a setup Clodsire, not anticipating a ground move, but hey, it's keeping the offensive momentum up pretty well. I could also have taken this time to switch in Cinccino, but I don't really want to throw it away before I absolutely have to. Because actually, Cinccino looks really good offensively if we can get rid of Sinistcha. So I do kind of like it for our endgame because neither of his really annoying, really defensive steel types are here. So he does switch. If Inam comes in, we're feeling real good right now. Pogty, it is the Sinistcha, I imagine. It is Sinistcha. This never beats us. We do actually land a Gunk Shot. It does something like 40%. We don't get the poison. So we can kind of get an idea of what kind of Sinistcha this is. Looks standard defensive with maybe a little bit of speed. I mean, Bombardier is a switch. We don't really want it getting burned, but it is an option. Cobalion's kind of an option if we want to go ahead and get rocks up, knock that Enam down really low, but we do risk a burn or a Shadow Ball. I think I am free. I don't really want to burn Gunk Shots. I only have so many, and he could definitely be Strength Sap. So I think Hard Switch Cobalion here is kind of risky. Hard Switch Cinccino's okay. Machagacha would hurt a little bit. I think I will go Cobalion because I do want rocks up more than most other things in this game. Because his removal is spin on that Colossal, and every time it comes in we get clawed in for free. I imagine Strength Sap or Matcha comes out here. If he Calm Minds, he's crazy because I'm unaware. That's just Strength Sap, which is totally fine with me. This is our only special attacker, so that really annoys the rest of our team. It will heal back to full, I'm sure. Yeah, just because Strength Sap is a ridiculously broken move. And I will just set up rocks. I think a Shadow Ball. Can't exactly remember how much damage it does to me. Yeah, it'll do like 40%, so we'll take a chunk, but then we'll be able to Volt next turn. He does just stay in, so we can see what he wants to do here. Could definitely Calm Mind. Probably Shadow Balls, maybe Hex. Calm Minds, okay. So we can go back into Claude now. Claude never cares about a Calm Mind. We could also go into our Topsy-Turvy Pokemon, I can't think of the name of off the top of my head, our Malamar, and flip his stat boost because that would be funny. How much is a Volt Switch? Volt Switch is only doing like 15%, so I don't know that it's worth it. Flash Cannon was doing like half. I actually think I don't want to reveal Volt Switch yet. So we'll just go back into the Claude. Yeah, we'll do that. This might be a slower paced game because he does have a lot of potential setup, and we have not taken a KO yet because of some unfortunate circumstances that we are going to fight against now. We've got the rocks up, so he's kind of really threatened to spin them away before he gets an Amorous back in, so that might actually end up being good for us. We will take spikes here, but we ignore the Calm Mind boost, so it's not a problem. He does get the +2/+2 now. This should make it painfully obvious that we are unaware, so I imagine he anticipates that. So Volcanion might be the switch-in of choice. I kind of want to Gunk Shot once, fish for a poison one time before setting up more curses, because obviously he just Strength Saps me always. He did not end up bringing the Trick Room mode, so Clodsire a little less good than it could have been because it does underspeed his entire team. But I do still think it has a lot of usefulness here, as long as Volcanion doesn't get any free switch-ins on it. He does Shadow Ball. This is going to do baby damage, 16 to 20% probably. That did a little more than I thought. Obviously that Gunk Shot did not do much. We're not boosted anymore. Yeah, that's pretty fair damage. I can recover here. I can curse once. Kind of like recover. I also kind of like curse. So the thing is, he could lock me in with Strength Sap, run me out of curses, and I would never have enough attack to actually beat this thing down. But it would also eventually run him out of Strength Saps, and he would not be able to KO me. So I really don't want to make this like a PP stall game, but these two just kind of endlessly stall against each other. I would love to get a free pivot into Malamar, but he's far too set up for that at this point. Hopefully he doesn't think we have Volt Switch on Cobalion now, because that should actually hurt the, can't think of it, Volcanion quite a bit. So Pogrox does come back in on our curse. We can hit it with a low kick this time. And seeing as he's a physical attacker, low kick should be doing about a third. Fighting was just better coverage this week than ground because of the worm. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to get one more curse. I think he spins. Yeah, he definitely spins. And then I can low kick on the next turn and actually get some meaningful damage on something. So we took a little bit of damage on Cobalion for kind of nothing now that rocks are gone. I could have low kicked this, but the damage was really not amazing. So I think it's better to get to +2 first. Now low kick is probably two-shotting this. Actually, definitely two-shotting this. So we'll go for that. He could definitely Earthquake. He could definitely switch. Sinister coming back in would be a headache. But a +2 Gunk Shot would hurt. Even a +1 Gunk Shot would hurt after a Strength Sap. And if we get one Poison, we're feeling really good. I guess I should have ran Poison Jab. Just because in hindsight, we weakened Enamorus a lot immediately. And Sinister having more PP against it's always a plus. But that's hindsight, right? Poison Jab looked worse into everything except Sinister. So I thought it was better to be prepared for the rest of the team rather than the one problem on, and might come to regret it. So he's really thinking about this move. He doesn't know my fourth move. He just goes for an Earthquake. We are at +2 defense, so we're looking pretty good. This low kick should do a crazy amount of damage. It does half. Okay. Well, that's not bad. We know he's Flash Fire, so he can't burn us with Flame Body. So he's like max defense with physical moves. Maybe a little bit of attack investment. I really think he might switch here, but Gunk Shot also puts him in range of another low kick. So he does just go for another spike. We are tidy up Cinccino, so not too concerned about that. Do go for another Gunk Shot. We do land it. Okay, Claude is 3 for 3 so far. Poison would be really nice. We don't get it. Could definitely just recover here. Now knowing that this is Rapid Spin Spikes Earthquake, I also feel pretty comfortable just going Cinccino to go ahead and get rid of these rocks. Especially because if he's Flash Fire, his last move is probably a Fire-type move. I do want Claude as healthy as possible, though, so I will click Recover. He could definitely get his last spike here. But if he does, I just pivot in Cinccino next turn. I don't think we really take anything. Yeah, and Rock Blast KOs this from the position it's at. Earthquake does 30%. Flare Blitz would hurt, I suppose, if he carried that. Yeah, Flare Blitz would do half at base, which is kind of crazy. I guess base powers are fun. It does switch. So we'll get a heal here. I think Volcanion is fairly likely. Nope, back to the Pog Goddess. So Enamorus, Therian. If he is max special attack. Earth Power is doing half. And Gunk Shot from us is, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong Pokemon. Earth Power is doing 40%. Gunk Shot clears this easily. So we'll just go for it. If he's willing to give us this, I'll take it. Yeah, that does about what we expected, about 40%. We do actually land the Gunk. This gives Volcanion a free switch in, but we will take the KO that we earned a little while ago. So, okay with that. So, Clodsire is now at 1 and something, and Enamorus ends up going 0-1 this game. We know that Colossal is EQ, Rocks, Spin. I will switch on this. I kind of have to pick a sack because I think a water move is definitely coming out here. Now that he knows we're unaware and not water absorb. I think it's going to have to be our CLODSIRE'S. I think this is our least useful Pokemon, especially now that Enamorus is gone. It's kind of done its job. Sinistcha we know is Strength Up, Calm Mind, and Shadow Ball. So we kind of have a choice to make here. We can go Cinccino and tidy up and get rid of these hazards now. I think I want to offensively threaten Volcanion if I can help it. I don't have great ways to do so. I guess I have Rock Slide on this. Really depends on his Volcanion set. When I was prepping, I think the most likely would be AV, but I don't want to rule out like Specs or Scarf. Yeah, Cinccino just gets destroyed by a modest Steam Eruption. So even if it's like modest Scarf, that would be really bad for us. Even though Rock Blast does crazy damage back. I think it might be Cinccino and Tidy Up. Could be Cobalion Volt Switch into Sack something. This is hard. It could also be Malamar. I think it's going to have to be Cinccino and Tidy Up. So we are Boots. So I will go for the Tidy Up. It's not great because the Steam Eruption probably KOs us, but he does just switch, so he fears the Banded Rock Blast, which I totally get. Goes into Pog Hands. Who is that? That is the Electivire, so we will outspeed it after this Tidy Up. He is Terra Ghost, but we do have Knockoff. So we get rid of the spikes. Tidying Up is complete. That's a really cute animation. I don't think I've ever seen that in game. So into an Electivire. He's Mirror Herb. Yo, that is hype. So Knockoff is definitely not a KO now, huh? So Rock Blast KOs this, or KOs it most of the time, depending on his bulk. That is a crazy tech. That is so cool. If he turns into a Ghost type and has no item, then Knockoff's actually stronger. But if he doesn't turn into a Ghost, we have an issue. And we don't have great answers. I guess Bombardier doesn't outrun it at +1, so that's a little scary. And does it knock us out? I assume so. Yeah, definitely. I think Rock Blast is safe, because we do know at least it's Ghost Terra. Knockoff has a better chance to knock it out, but if he doesn't Terra, then we're just out of luck. Obviously, Tail Slap scares it. He does elect to Terra. So I should have knocked off, but if he hadn't Terra, then it would have been bad. And the difference is 2%, so it's just a slightly in our favor. Ice Punches. Doesn't even get close to KOing. I can Encore him into Ice Punch and force him out. But at this point, I'm going to knock off because it's what I should have done. Because we've missed 2 out of 3 inaccurate moves. Rock moves, at least, this game. This should do crazy damage. It doesn't. He's bulky. He's really bulky. Ice Punch 2-shots us. Man, that's so frustrating. That Rock Blast wouldn't have KO'd, but it would have gotten him in range of a knockoff. So my opponent, very fortunate so far. So our Malamar into an Electivire with Ice Punch. With Earthquake, let's say. I don't think Electivire gets a bug move. With Supercell Slam. We always take 1, according to the calc. Whether or not it's right, we'll see. But I'm not going to Terra here. We do have to give up a lot of health on Malamar. That's tough. I guess I should have just knocked off for the safe play, but yeah. Or it does Earthquake, so we didn't Terra, so it doesn't KO. Doesn't even do half. Wow, okay. So he was a bulky Mirror Herb set. That's interesting. It does go down. So his Volcanion is currently at 1 and something. And his Electivire went 1 and 1. And then we sacked CLODSIRE'S, and we sacked Cinccino. So we're not looking great. We don't have many resources left, and as long as Volcanian's alive, we really can't do much with our CLODSIRE. So that's a little worrying. Can go ahead and get rid of these off the team sheet. He has Honchcrow come back in. U-turn is pretty free play for him here. We know he's Scarfed, so that's a plus. I assume Scarf Braidbird probably still knocks us out. Yeah. About type Pogbird is the enemy Pokemon. Yeah, Braidbird probably knocks us out. Superpower almost certainly doesn't knock him out. Do I want to lose Malamar? Because we still have quite a bit of health. I mean, Malamar is a great win con here. I think we can actually sack. I think it might be the Claude. I think I actually sack the CLODSIRE here, as bad as that sounds. Or the bird, the Bombardier. Yeah. I think it's that's a hasty decision, but Scarf Bombardier is not really doing too much for us at this point. We're gonna get some chip on this, assuming he Brave Birds. He does just U-turn again, so I could have Terra there and lived that U-turn easily. It's interesting. That's fine with me. So I knock off, or Rock Slide, whatever comes in here. I knock off Sinistcha, I Rock Slide the other two. If he's Scarfed Volcanion, he won't expect us to be Scarfed because Honchcrow outspeeds. So that could actually be a really big positive for us. I don't think Volcanion's Scarfed, though. Does go Pogdog. It's the Volcanion. Obviously a dog. I think we do half to this with Rock Slide and about a third with Knockoff, if not a little more. Yeah, Knock is obviously the safer play, and I'd like to get rid of whatever item he has, because I don't want any surprises. Does a little less than I expected. He's Resto Chesto. Flamethrower. This probably KOs. It does KO. You can't really learn a whole lot from that. Volcanion was Chesto, Flame, Thrower, and Hydro. So what's our out? What's our way to win? Malamar comes in, hits him, does some damage. This comes in, Volt switches. Malamar comes in, lives a Flamethrower. I don't like how this is looking. Yeah, I guess I should have stayed physical on Cobalion, and a close combat would KO this. Malamar's really not doing a lot, especially if he has no item. And he probably KOs us in return. Cobalion is never really winning into Sinistcha, though, so I think our play is go into this, get our chip with Aura Sphere. And then try to win with Malamar. He might save this, go Sinistcha. If he does that, then we try to 1v1 Sinistcha with Malamar. Or even CLODSIRE. But as long as this exists, CLODSIRE can't win. So this is a tough game. I didn't want to click Rock Slide there. We would have gotten a decent amount more chip, and this Aura Sphere may have KO'd. At the cost of a 10% chance to just miss again and not have any chip. And then this into Malamar wouldn't even KO. So even now that I'm looking at it, I don't know that an Aura Sphere into a superpower even KOs this. So that's kind of scary. Oh god, I don't think it does. That's not good. I think we just lose. Flamethrower does KO. We should have been physical. I shouldn't have changed it. I should have just ran 6 physical Mons. That's unfortunate. So we'll go Malamar. We are like no physical attack investment, so it's unfortunate. I will Terra, just because if he slips up and clicks Flamethrower, then that gives us some chance. But the superpower doesn't KO. We could have ran Terra Fighting for superpower to KO, but then we had to deal with a lot more issues, mainly burns, because I expected maybe Flame Body, and then Sinistcha. That 1v1 matchup would not have been great. So I brought a lot of funny techs here, and none of them ended up really working as well as I hoped they would. Maybe I should have encored the Electivire and then brought this in and tried to get it set up. I don't know. It's hard. Obviously, I should have just double knocked with Cinccino. That was my big misplay of the game, because then we would have had a half health +1 speed Cinccino in on a team of slow Pokemon. He would have had to take damage on something. So he does switch, which gives me an opportunity. Does go into the Pog T, which is fine. We don't set up on this, but he also can't Strength Sap us. So, since when we're a fire type, Shadow Ball's doing a third. We're very Spadef. We do have our hat. He can't Calm Minds. I can block his Calm Minds. Obviously, that doesn't work. We can knock it. I think it was lefties. We're lefties. So we also cannot get so low that Honchkrow can just revenge us for free. He's not lefties, but I can just knock once. He might watch him be Scald. That would be crazy. I will just knock once, though. So, what did we get rid of? I guess, you know, these are his 4 remaining mons. Sorry, I was not paying attention. Volcanion has 2 KOs now. He is Colberberry. Very, very good bring. This guy, this prep, your prep this game, amazing. He does just Shadow Ball, so he is just going for damage. I was really hoping he would be Calm Minding, but he's going for the safe play, which is very smart. He does beat me as soon as Malamar goes down, because then we have no way to beat Volcanion. So I think I'm going to have to switch Clodsire here, which is not great. Shadow Ball is, yeah, almost certainly KOing us here. Yeah, I have to switch. So it looks like we're going to go 1-1. I'll at least try to get the differential down a little bit, but no promises. If you go for a Strength Sap, I'm going to be so annoyed. Okay, just another Shadow Ball. I was going to say, that was my out, is if you forget that I'm Contrary and Strength Sap. So could pretty easily switch into Volcanion here to clean up the game. Makes me want to click Gunk Shot once. Yeah, because these Shadow Balls are doing quite a bit. So we'll click Gunk once, try to get a Poison. He does just switch maybe hard into Volcanion, which we could then catch. Pog Rock, so into the Colossal. So once again, we've misplayed. So he's sacking this to get a free switch into... okay, we get the Poison. So he's sacking this to get a free switch into Volcanion. Does an Earthquake from this to knock out Malamar. Okay, because it goes down next turn no matter what. So, Earthquake. I know the odds are very low, but I've got to try where I can. For Terra Fire, Earthquake does KO Malamar most of the time, so it's just not worth it. I mean, unfortunately, Volcanion gets a free switch in here as soon as he goes down to Poison. And it should always knock out Claude. And then we always lose to Sinistcha. So, tough game. I will recover just in case he's like not fully invested on the Volcanion. Okay, even if he's not fully invested, he's KOing us. I did not anticipate that doing that much. I was used to the damage after we had a Curse up. So we'll drop the Poison here. Obviously, we could not switch there. If he even had 4 attack investment, that was always a KO on Malamar, and that's just, you know, we know our luck. We know we can't risk that. So he does go down. It kind of would have been better if he had stayed alive for another turn, because we could have recovered again. Got a little healthier, but what can you do? So Volcanion will come in here, probably knock us out. I knew Volcanion was a problem this game. So Clodsire gets another KO. Colossal goes 0-1. He gets a free Steam Eruption here, the freest of all Steam Eruptions. I guess Low Kick is my best play here. If he misses... No, Gunk Shot is... I mean, Low Kick gets him in range of a superpower. Doesn't miss the marginally inaccurate move. We live easily. We get burned, which is hilarious. So this low kick is going to do nothing. We may not even KO with Malamar now because the burn, which is 30%, so I can't be too mad. But I'm shocked. This must be no special attack investment. It's fully bulky, which means Malamar does not KO this. I mean, I'll click recover. I could have stalled Steam Eruptions, which if he has Earth Power, that's irrelevant. But that's so funny that he got the burn immediately. I could have gunked, I guess. Man, that's unfortunate. Because Malamar, we hope for a crit, because otherwise we're not KOing. Does just Flamethrower? I don't know that this KOs. It does KO. Imagine me switching right there. That would have been insane. No. This game's gone long enough. I think it's time to just end it, honestly. So I didn't get to show off my really fun Malamar tech, unfortunately. If the game has any justice, maybe we get a crit here. Just maybe. I could go for Psycho Cut, but then we just lose. We need that +1 boost to beat Sinistcha. Psycho Cut does also catch the Sinistcha switching in, though. But it's also less likely to kill minus a crit, so I think it's fine to just go for Superpower. He may switch back into Sinistcha. If that happens, we actually do get some leftovers back. So we might find ourselves living a single Shadow Ball, but then Honchkrow just KOs. So I think we're kind of screwed regardless. We need the Superpower defense boost for Honchkrow, but we need to boost up otherwise, or we need to KO this. You know, there's too much left in the back. Does switch, probably Sinistcha. If not Bird. Is Sinistcha, okay. Could've went for Psycho Cut, but we did not. Frustrating game. So zero special attack Shadow Ball never knocks us out after these lefties, but I think he's shown that he does have some amount of special attack. I will just go for the knock though. Please Strength Sap. Strength Sap, forget. Contrary, please. Okay, nope. Shadow Ball, does it KO? Does KO. Guys, I'm retiring. After this season, I can't. I just can't. Like, every opportunity for luck other than one single poison on CLODSIRE just screws me over. So, honestly, CLODSIRE easily wins that game if I had set it up with Curse, knowing that Volcanion was as weak as it was. And, you know, Mons is Mons. We're going to lose to luck sometimes. I feel like actually we did have good avenues to victory had we not gotten unlucky where we did, but that's part of the game. We're going to try again next week. We're going to try to stay positive. We're going to try to have a positive record again, and yeah, we'll see you then.